Okay, so as we grow as a team, and even for yourself at the beginning, you've got to be all over your KPIs. So these are the core numbers that I track. I'm going to show you how I do it in my business and how I keep things moving forward in the business. So this forms part of the Monday meeting that I have with my team. If you haven't got a team at the minute, or you've got a remote team, you just work with them or you just analyze yourself. So each of the phases are in a section. So I've got my awareness section. So who's involved in the KPIs in that section. I've got my lead generation section, sales and opportunity section, so on and so forth. So what I then do in those sections is I collect who is the phase owner. So that tends to be the team leader. So marketing manager, head of sales, head of operations, that sort of thing. And then what KPIs we're going to track and who owns that KPI. So who is the individual responsible for achieving that KPI, what the weekly goal is. So we specify, what the specific weekly goal is. It might be hitting a certain one of those KPIs, or it might be a bigger picture. And then what the team looks like. So it might be X marketing manager, X marketing assistant. And then in terms of the tool stack, what tools we use to achieve that. So it could be, Facebook marketing, Hootsuite, it could be whatever. And then rating on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being that it's not operating very well and missing KPIs, and 5 meaning that it's efficient. And then what you do is, as you go through this each week, you find out where your bottlenecks are, and that's where you need to start taking action to put things right. So I've left the KPIs in that I track, and it'll give you a bit of a flavor. But if you want to change them out or add things in, it's quite simple. Again, these docs all just work by just, pluses and minuses, and just shuts the columns down. So basically for the awareness KPIs, I want to know how much money we're spending on Facebook. And I want to know the number of posts in target Facebook groups that we've done. So that's what we're getting aware of. I might then set them a target of, say, I want to spend £1,000 on Facebook ads this week, because tracking everything in the marketing KPIs, in the organic and the strategic measures, we know that if we spend £1,000, we generate X amount of money. Because when you get to know your numbers in detail, you know how much. So if we needed to generate, a certain amount of leads for the business, we might say, right, we need to spend £5,000 this week on marketing. And that would be our target. So you put your target in there, and then you just put in, what you actually spent. And then obviously it tells you what your percentage is. And then it tells you what it is for the month as well. And, it keeps you, again, just moving the needle backwards and forwards each week. You're constantly analyzing what you're doing. Same for a number of posts in Facebook groups. So we might say, right, we want 3 targeted posts this week. How many have we done? And, I know that the targeted posts build the brand awareness. So that's why it's a focus key point. How many email subscribers we've got in, how many people we're getting in our Facebook group. So we have a couple of groups that we run to, attract landlords in there, and also for contractors. And then obviously we go data mining in those groups. So we're trying to build those groups out. So we have a target of how many members we want in that group each week, because the long-term game is the more members we get in, the bigger pool we've got to fish in. And obviously we control the content that goes into the groups. How many ManyChat subscribers we've got. So that shows how many people are coming through our flow pages, through our chat bots, and we then get to prospect them as well. So all of this top end leads to the lead generation, which is the bottom end. So how many conversations have we started for acquisitions? How many new bookings have we booked for acquisitions? How many number of 2-step posts have we done for the acquisitions? And again, what the targets are each week. How many, obviously this is for my service accommodation side of the business. So how many direct booking conversations have we started? So when they're going out prospecting, looking in Facebook groups or speaking to people that have stayed before, that sort of thing. I want to know how many people they're doing each week. I know that if we target around 25 to 30 conversations opened, we should get about £1,000 worth of direct bookings. So I know that because that's the figures that we do. So if I want to get £2,000 worth of direct bookings that week, I need to get 50 conversations going. And, do we then have the manpower to do that? So that's how you then use numbers to scale. Number of 2-step posts. So again, building brand awareness around direct bookings, and we have direct 2-step posts for attracting, new acquisitions. So there's 2 different sides of the sales department there. And Closing KPIs, how many viewings have we had, total new acquisitions that we've made, in terms of the value, as I explained in the previous section on tracking your prospecting KPIs. I work on a 5-year life cycle, or the contract life cycle, should I say, of the net revenue that the property will earn. What the direct booking value was, if we managed to get any bookings, where the direct bookings come from, whether they're fresh stays or new clients, and then how many empty properties we've got, or rooms. So I want to know on a weekly basis how many empty properties we've got out of the whole portfolio that are on a single let basis, or rooms. And then I'll set a target to make sure that that's reducing each week. And whoever's in charge of that KPI will, so all these are the KPIs here, that would go in your KPI section here. And then whoever's in charge of that, I would be asking them, where are we at with direct booking? Where are we at with getting our rooms filled? Have we achieved our goal? Why not? So that fuels the conversation. In terms of delivering the product, I want to know, what our NPS score is for guests, what our staff score is for guests, how many red status clients we've got. And then I also want to know how the operations is running on the back end in terms of cleaning, linen, and all that sort of stuff. How many red status clients is, people that score us less than a 4 out of 5, obviously, or an 8 out of 10. And I want an upgrade referral testimonial. So how many testimonials are we getting, and how many referrals have we got from people that are currently staying with us? So this is obviously more digging into the service accommodation side of things, but you can dig that into HMOs, clients, whatever it might be, however you scale your business. I then want to know financials every single week. I look at this and need to know how healthy the business is, and I obviously set targets for the business. I tend to fill this out first and then work back over, so I'll then work the KPIs out based on what the financials are looking like, and what we need to be and where we need to be to achieve them. So SA revenue collected that week, so what have we taken in the bank account? What have we booked? So, have we booked, 15, 17 grand, 14 grand, less than 10 grand, if so, why? So we need to work out what we're booking, so we know that our pipeline is, constantly flowing with money coming through. Tenant revenue, so I just put in what we've collected from the single lets and what we've collected from the HMOs, and then that'll total up there. And I then want to know, I've actually got 3 other revenue streams here, which are sort of clean and linen, our refurbishment side of the business, and the coaching academy as well. So they're extra revenue streams, but I've put them in there for you guys. So, as you build your business out and start diversifying, you can add your extra revenue streams in there as well. And then that will total this revenue up here. I like to know certain costs. So I want to know what the cost of sales are. So in my chart of accounts in Xero, I just look at the cost of sales for that particular week. And then I look at the administrative costs for that week. And I look at the refurbishment costs for that week, and the repairs and maintenance costs. Now, these for me are crucial because I don't like to see them going up. And if they are, I want to know why. It's quite easy to let these run away when you start getting a sizable portfolio. So marketing costs, I want to know how much you spend on paid ads and how much you spend on software subscriptions. It's quite easy to get wrapped up in subscriptions, and over time, if you don't pay attention to it, you can end up paying a lot of money for things that you don't use. So that's why I like that number there. Again, you can add in, just simply right click, add in columns, and then just change the formulas here to add, your sections if you want to add more in. But again, you don't need to be too, you don't want too many KPIs that it becomes diluted and you're not taking focus in the right areas. For me, these have been the core ones that I've really worked on and pulled out to make my business. I used to have spreadsheets and spreadsheets of data, and I still have them. I use this pretty much as my snapshot every week. So this is then going to tell me what my net revenue has been for that week. I will set a target revenue, for the week, whatever that might be. Let's say it's 17.5 grand, and then if we come in at 20 grand, then it's going to show that we've made a 2.5 grand difference, So it's, again, you want to be knowing what you want to be generating per week. So this is, again, another bit of a sort of mindset hack. As I built the business, I started to see a lot of money in the bank account, and it probably made me a bit comfortable. So what I do now is I split them off. I only ever have a maximum of 20 grand in my operating account, because sometimes that can then dip below quite a bit, especially if, say, around the first of the month when, most of the rents go out, and a lot of the costs go out, the wages, things like that, it can dip quite low, and it creates that mindset of, shit, I need to fucking pull my finger out here and do some work. You know, we need to get this business going. So it kind of just, for me, creates that hunger, and it creates that sort of scarcity mindset that you need to, you know, pull your finger out and work. And when I started scaling and getting bigger, I did get a bit comfortable. So this was a great thing that I stumbled across, and I can't remember where it was from. Maybe the 4-hour work week, possibly. And it's worked wonders for me. I've had it in operation for quite some time now. So I have an operating account that I only ever have, you know, about 20 grand in, no matter what's happening. And if I get to a certain amount of money in there, I have a couple of checkpoints. So pretty much the 15th of each month, and then the 28th, whatever money is in there over and above that 20 grand, I then pull that out and I put that into my profit pot. And then that profit pot's in a different bank account that I hardly ever look at. So I don't really, I look at it once a week to get the number for one of the figures for this figure here. So I know what it is, but it's out of the way. So I'm not seeing it every day, and it makes me not think I've got loads of money. So I have that scarcity mindset, and I want to continue to push, because I think that's really important, and allowing you to scale. Tax and VAT, I nearly got caught out once by not planning for this, so I don't want to make that mistake again. So every month my accountant tells me how much our VAT liability is and what the corporation tax potential might be. I take that out of the operating account and I put that into the tax and VAT account, and I do not touch it. It's out the way, it's done, it's dusted. And then my hunting pot, which is how much money I've got to that I allocate towards, you know, buying property and buying assets. And that fluctuates as and when we are doing refinances and all that sort of stuff. So that goes up and down, and that just gives me a keen eye on, you know, what I know I've got to spend. Age debt, that comes from the Xero accountancy software. Just a simple report that I pull off, click a button, and it tells me how much our age debt is. Obviously, if that's rising, I get onto my accountant and I ask them to start with my bookkeeper, and I start saying, you know, can we get this chased down? Can we figure out what's going on? You know, and I'll also take a bit of a look into it as well and make sure that I don't spot any obvious problems. My accountancy software also shows me what my weekly profit and loss is on a cash basis. So i.e. how much cash we actually collected in the bank that's being reconciled, and how much it was on an accrual basis based on, you know, what we invoiced out. So again, just gives you a good idea of, you know, where you're at and how healthy your business is. And from those numbers, I find that you can really scale things in the right direction. So this is, again, another core spreadsheet that I need you to, you know, implement into your business. Make a copy of it, start putting your digits in it. You know, you just use the tags here, and, you know, you might have to change these as we go into 2021. But, you know, no big deal. It's pretty much set up, and it should keep you on track. And then start tracking your KPIs with your staff or with yourself if you are the only member of staff at the minute. And it will serve you wonders. You know, it really does. This sheet is one of my, you know, golden tools that I use all the time, and it helps me push the business in the right direction. Any questions on it? Pop them in the group and we'll get them answered for you.